Okay, very good morning, everyone. Yesterday we discussed from 4 days different types of websites as well as web forensics, different site like different sites like Shodan.io, Census.io, Zoom.org, and Fofa.so, Snow.io, whoisdomaintools.com, Hunter.io, and reverse IP. Till yesterday, we discussed these things. So, what is the use of Hunter.io? Hunter.io, if you want the list of the people's information, yes, you can get from this Hunter.io. So, how many people are there in specific company? What are their email IDs? If you want to wish to find that information with the help of this Hunter.io, you can find it here. So you can also use a Hunter.io to display for particular domain names here. Then reverse IP, if some offender hosted some specific website, website in a server, and we want to figure out other website hosted on the same server at that time, reverse IP will help you a lot. Okay. So enter the IP address. It will tell you what are the other websites hosted on the same server. It is called nothing but a reverse IP lookup. So yesterday we discussed these things. Now we'll go for the pentesttools.com. So what is this pentesttools.com? It will help in finding the subdomains, you can say. So it is also useful for website vulnerability scanner. Website vulnerability scanner here. Website vulnerability scanner. So in pen test tools, just enter the website name, any website name. Okay. It will scan and will give the report. You can type anything. You can type your college URL. You can type your google.com. Okay. Any website thing. Just open your browsers. I'll give you 5 seconds. Please tell what is happening. It is a free scan, no problem. So it's scanning website vulnerability scanner report. So take some time to download the report. Okay. You can type anything. So it can fingerprint the server software here. So the website, useful information you can get from this website. All these things are very helpful in finding some information gathering, you can say. Yes, sir. The tool name is pentest-tools.com. Now we'll go for the Facebook legal. So social media, if someone has created a fake profile, generally a Facebook may have give some information or may not give some information. If any fake profile is created on behalf of you, nowadays the Facebook can recognize, sometimes it may not recognize. So for that purpose, we need some Facebook search with the word called as a facebook.legal. Facebook.legal here. Just click on this. You can see these number of results here within a seconds. Law enforcement online request is a records. So generally, this law enforce online request is used by the police department or any uh, officially authorized persons. They can request from this particular URL called as a facebook.com records. See this URL, facebook.com records login here. From here, you can officially request if you are authorized. It is not for the public. Please try to understand. It is not for the public. It is only for law enforcement agencies of that respective countries. So why? Because Facebook is a worldwide. It can only for investigation officers. It can be used only for the investigation officers who are legally authorized to do it in not in a public place here. If some offender is doing some issue, okay, we'll find the person behind the Facebook profile. Yes or no? If Facebook is not responding, then what we have to do here? We have to send a link to the offender here. We have to send a link to the offender. If offender clicks on that particular link, then we'll get the IP address. If offender clicks on that particular link, then we'll get the IP address. So you need to perform some social engineering here. You need to perform some social engineering technique to send the link to the offender here. So how to do these things here? How to do this? So anyone, please say a particular strong password. Please chat in the chat box. Can anyone say which is the most strong password? Please chat in the chat box. Don't enter the attendance now. Please chat in the chat box. What do you think? Which is the most? Please type the letters. Please type the passwords. What do you think a strong password? For red cast. Only one person is in the live. Remaining are all the offenders. Just observing the information. ABC Aish 15464. Student at the rate of 123 hash. Only 4 to 5 students are in the class. Remaining all the intruders, I think. Opponents. Just observing the information. Just kept the phone. Bond at the rate of 007. Okay. So this is nothing but a social engineering. What is in your mind? Just taking the information from the students. It's nothing but a social engineering. Whatever in the mind, you're just typing the passwords here. I think some of them, some of the students, some of the people have used this passwords previously. Yes or no? It is nothing but a social engineering. It's a type of attack. Social engineering is also one other type of attack. If you have whatever in your mind, you're just typing the passwords here. Some people, may not be all. So if you want to perform social engineering technique, then you can send the link to the offender. So how to do it here? So for that, we have one site called as a grapify.link. Grapify.link here. Please open your mobile phones. Go for the grapify.link. Just open this site. Create some specific URL. Okay. Any URL you can create here. So it would ask agree to create a URL. Okay. So I type Swayam. Whatever it means in mind, you can type it. So please click on each image containing a train. So where is the train? This one, this one, this one. Check it. So I can get the Grapify IP logger tracking and logs, link information. So it is asking to identify something, and you can notice that URL got created. Let me change the domain name so that we can go for to change the domain name. Just open the smart logger. So this is the URL to access the link. Just type this in your mobile phone browsers here. HTTP. Please, all of you do it. HTTP :/ grapify.link track ndqwts. Type చేయండి అన్న ఒకసారి అందరూ. I'll give 5 seconds. So if you are in a mobile browser or in your laptop, we can get your IP address here. Anyone? All of you type this link. Just open your browsers. Type this URL. http://grapify.link track ndqwts. Yes. No one using. What you got? Or type this. Type in a browsers. Try this one. Grapify.link I1RS0YY. Please type fast in from your mobile browsers. Link information, sir. This one, http://grapify.link 1RS0YY. This is sensitive domain name. Please type exactly. Server not found. Please on your net. So no one has logged till now, showing 0 results. That means you are not in that position to do. Just type https://grapify.link 1RS0YY. Type correctly. So no one has typed till now. Server not found. Just type this tracking code. Tracking code is this one. This one. You can type this. You type second one. Grapify.link. This one. Anyone from your mobile phones or from your laptop? So if you click on this, I can track your IP addresses here. The date, IP address, country, user agent. Okay. So for that, smart logger should be on. We'll send this type of links to the offender. If he clicks on the particular link, then we'll get the IP address with timestamping here. Yes, the site cannot be show link once again. Okay. Graphified link dot link 1RS0YY. So you can change the domain name also here if you want. It's coming, sir. Okay. So I just refresh it. So I can see the IP addresses now. Yes. So these many IP addresses I got. So these many people are logged into my site here. See this India, this IP address, one fellow. Mozilla 5.0 Linux Android Redmi Note 50 5.55 Pro. Okay. Host name Reliance Jio. So you can get the more information here. So 32 people are logged in from 72 students, 75 students. So you can see the information here. So I can track your IP address. I can track your mobile phone, which phone you are using. I can track your ISP. I can track your which browser you're using. Okay, now. Mozilla. So this IP address, Prakash Nagar, Vijayawada. They're showing from Vijayawada. Visakhapatnam. Prakash Nagar. I think you can track this. The IP address is very easy. So these are other things. So I can get this information here. We'll send this type of links to offenders here. So if the offender clicks on particular link, we can get the IP address with the timestamping here. Yes. Mozilla, WhatsApp, Mozilla Linux, Windows. So broadband, some static IP addresses, ISPs. So let me enable, you can enable the smart logger here. You can also get the mobile versions. So 41 students till now. 44. So I can get the IP addresses here. So it's told grapify.link. You can track the IP addresses. You can track the offender here by sending this type of links by using this site. Okay. I think it's interesting somewhat today.
సార్ ఒక్కసారి మళ్ళీ చెప్పరా?
ఓకే నాన్న ఏం లేదు, సింపుల్. ఇది గ్రాఫిఫైడ్ లింక్ అని ఉంటుంది ఒకటి. జస్ట్ దాంట్లో ఏం చేస్తామంటే what we will do, first of all, we will create a link here. So I can create any fake profile, Swayam Money. So if I create my own URL, I can create any URL, Swayam, whatever it may be. So if I want to know where the offender is using my phone, okay, where my offender is using the social fake, created on some fake profile on my Facebook or social media, then so I can create create a URL for that here. So for that I'm using the graphified link here. So just open the URL and just type any specific URL, whatever it may be. So just create the URL, just agree the conditions. Then you can get the image containing a bot. So where another one, just click on this. It's wrong. Motor bus first, second, third, I think. Yes. So just type the graphified link here. Just send this, copy this link and give to the offender here. Send to the offender. Now you can open your mobile browsers. Just paste it, type this one. So you can also change the domain name if you want, Swayam, whatever it may be. So I want to open on the smart logger. And if you type this in your browsers, is a case sensitive. You can type from your mobile phone or laptop. We can get your IP address here. And if you typed fast, no time. Yeah, you can see the IP address. Four people are typed. So I can get their IP address, offender's IP address. Offender means you are the offenders. So I am a victim. Example I'm saying. If I created my Facebook profile, fake profile, any whatever may be, social media profile, so I can send this type of links to the offender. So if the offender clicks on this particular link, so we can get the IP address with the time stamping, I can see. So date, time, IP address, from the country, from which browser you're using, what is the broadband name. So I can get the more information. Only 4 people have typed this till now. You can get more information, 9 people. A simple tool, simple site. Okay. So okay, we'll go with syllabus. So this Facebook.legal only for higher authorities, not for you. Don't go for that. If you want to scan your website, you can go for pentest.tools.com. And we'll go with syllabus now. It's already late. What are the remaining we'll discuss tomorrow. Extra things. So shoulder suffering, we had discussed some of the threats yesterday. It may be forces of nature, it may be a information extortion, extortion trespass, deviations in quality of service. Okay, we'll go with remaining things. So this is an example for shoulder suffering, Trojanos, deviations in quality of service. We discussed this all these things yesterday. Extortion trespass as we cover, and shoulder suffering in ATMs you can see. Example as told yesterday, ATMs are built as what it may be. Expert hacker, unskilled hackers, forces of nature, human error and failure, information extortion. Okay. Now we'll go with remaining threats. One is yes, sabotage or vandalism. So deliberate acts on sabotage or vandalism. So but sabotage or vandalism is nothing but destruction, you can say. Destruction of information or destruction of the systems. Threats may range from some pretty random vandalism to organized sabotage, you can say, destruction, you can say. So popular today is some asset on electronic phase of organization. Example, you can take a website. This category of threat addresses generally the individual or a group, you can say, group of individuals who want deliberately destruction of operations of computer system or a business, you can say. Simply, you can say destroy an asset or damage image of the organization. Vandalism is nothing but destroy an asset or simply damage your image of your organization. So nowadays, so many websites are defacing can enrich the consumer confidence, dropping sales. Example, you can take organization's net worth. So threat of hacktivist, you can say, cyber activist, or operations rising. So many online vandalisms, online destructions you can see on the websites here. So many company websites. Online vandalism, which interfere, disturb the system, and protest the operations here, and destroy the policies. What are the policies you have? What are the actions of organizations? And what are the events you're doing in the organizations? All are destroyed here with the help of vandalism, destruction of systems or information. So you can simply call as a cyber terrorism. So what is cyber terrorism? Cyber terrorism. So it's a more extreme version, you can say, of hacking. Hack systems to conduct some investigations, conduct some terrorist activities through a network. Hack systems to conduct terrorist activities through network or internet pathways, you can say. Yes. Example, you can take NAT web pages. So NAT web pages is one type of a threat. It is not real threat. It's a type of threat, you can see. It is a hype, you can see. Creating some hype in the people. So we'll go with another one. Acts of threat, acts of theft, simple one. So what is act of theft? You can say illegal classification of information. Illegal classification of information is act of theft. Illegally taking of another's property is a theft, especially for political. Okay. Within the organization, property can be a physical, it may be electronic, it may be intellectual property. What is intellectual property, anyone? Illegally taking of another's property is nothing but a theft. Okay. Within organization, property can be a physical, it may be computers, it may be whatever it may be, electronic devices, electronic, intellectual property. What is intellectual property? Anyone? Please chat in chat box. 73 offenders simply seeing the class, listening the class. If you are not responding, you are offended. You are a hacker. Simply observing the hacking the data. Intellectual property is nothing but your information. So your rights, whatever you invented, it is a comes under the intellectual property. So physical theft can control easily. Generally, physical theft. If you are taking a computer or any cable from your college, we can find easily. Wide variety of measures can be used, from simple locking the doors, some simple locking the doors, and train the security personnels, security guards. Yes, install some alarm systems to avoid this type of personal threats. Yes, electronic theft generally more complex problem to manage and control. So organizations not even know when it is occurred generally. Electronic threats and intellectual property, so many people will take your information and use that information for different purposes. Next one, technical hardware failures or errors. So example, you can take equipment failure, as already given example, equipment failure here. So occur when the manufacturer distributes equipment containing flaws to the users. Some of you people in previous olden days, when you buy some CD-ROM CDs here, like antivirus, whatever it may be, they have some flaws sometimes. Okay, occur when manufacturer distributes some equipment containing some flaws to the users. Known flaws or unknown flaws, you can say. There are two types. One is known flaws, unknown flaws. So these defects can cause system to perform outside of expected parameters, resulting in unreliable service or lack of availability. Some errors are result in unrecoverable loss of equipment. Some errors are intermittent, that is only periodically manifest themselves. So resulting in falls are not easily repeated, you can say. The best example you can take hardware failure only. Intel Pentium chips all comes under this hardware. Examples you can take. Next one, technical software and errors. So bugs, code problems, unknown loopholes, all this comes under the software failures or errors, you can say. So when you purchase some software that contains unrevealed faults, unrevealed faults means software with unknown hidden faults, you can say. Unknown hidden faults. Hidden faults. Unknown hidden faults. Yes. So combination of the certain software and hardware can reveal new software bugs also sometimes. Sometimes you can see some bugs in softwares. Both combination of hardware can reveal to some a new software bugs, some network bugs, some hardware bugs. So these are not errors, you can say, but the purpose is to shortcut some left by the programmers for honest or dishonest reasons, you can say. So example, you can take a website dedicated to some documenting the bugs here. Last one, technical obsolescence, technological obsolescence means outdated technologies. Generally, if you are using the outdated technologies, then what will happen? When infrastructure becomes outdated, antiquated, you can say, outdated or antiquated, it leads to unreliable and untrustworthy systems, you can say. If you're using only old versions of operating system, if you are not updating your operating system, what will happen? If you're not updating your apps, what will happen? So many bugs you can see in their softwares. So you want to go for update every time. So when infrastructure becomes outdated, it leads to unreliable. So management must recognize when technology becomes outdated again. Why? Because there is a risk of loss of data. Integrity problems may be happen. Integrity threats or attacks may be happen for your organization. Asset. So proper planning should be there. Proper planning should be there. A proper planning management should be prevent this type of risk from the technology obsolescence here. So this technology obsolescence plays a major role in the organizations. So every time you want to update your information. So intellectual property is nothing but copyright, you can say, infringement, privacy. It is just people will copy the some documentation from the websites. It's a copyright. So you need to have a copyright. You want to create your own data. You can get the copyright from the copyright offices. We create a new one. If you copy the documentation, there's a fine for the students also. Anyone. In the US, it is 25,000 and 1 week prison. You can go for prison. So these are different types of threats. 10 marks question. You can get 10 marks question. Please remember. You want to write the different types of categories of threats with examples. Then only you can get the marks here. Okay. Now we'll go for the deliberate software attacks. Okay. So what is an attack generally? What is an attack? Anyone? How many types of attacks? How many types of attacks? There are two types of attacks. It may be a passive attack. It may be an active attack. Passive attack, again, indirect attack, direct attack, intentional attack, unintentional attacks. We have discussed in previous classes. Passive means only we can compromise the information, cannot change the information. Active means we can modify the information here. So deliberate software attacks. So this type of attacks occur when individual or group of people design software to attack some particular systems. Okay, mostly referred as a malicious software. Malicious software. Malicious software is even malware. Some designed to damage or destroy or deny the service of target system. Deny means destroying the or disturbing the connection of the target systems. Is nothing but a deny. So these are designed to damage, destroy your targeted systems. So what is a virus generally? What includes it? You can say segments of code, segments of codes that perform some malicious actions. Malicious actions. For example, so many types of viruses you can see. Microviruses, boot viruses. So what is microviruses? Example, microviruses, boot viruses. Yes, microviruses generally automatically are embedded executing some microcode like word processing, spreadsheets, database applications, all comes under the microviruses here. What is boot viruses? So generally this boot viruses infects some operating system files located in the boot sector. Boot viruses generally infects key operating system files which are located in the boot sectors. So different types of viruses which perform some malicious actions here. What is worms? Anyone? Please chat in chat box. Few intruders have left the class. Few offenders are saying my class. Please chat in chat box. What is a worm? Already I told in previous classes. So worm is nothing but a malicious, again it is a malicious programs. Malicious programs replicate themselves constantly without requiring another program to provide safe environment for replication. Example, you can take resources, memory, network also, network bandwidth. What is Trojan horses? I have discussed in first classes all these things. Trojan horses, software programs that hide the true nature, you can say, or reveal the design behavior when activated. Example, you can take readme.exe files. You can see some readme.exe files, which include some uh, freeware packages. You can see shareware packages. Readme.execute. Logic bombs. I discussed different types of Trojans in previous class. Logic bombs. So logic bombs is nothing but a piece of code. You can say piece of code intentionally inserted into some software system that will get of malicious information. What is a backdoor? So backdoor is also a type of a virus. or a worm, you can say. Backdoor or trapdoor. So this backdoor or trapdoor generally allows the attacker to access the system. It will at which we have some special privileges, you can say. What is polymerism threats? Anyone? Have you heard this type of threat? So this type of threat generally changes its apparent shape over time. Polymorphic threats. Next, viruses and worms, hoaxes. People generally spread viruses and worms when they send emails or virus threat sequence, virus laden threat sequence, virus or worm hoaxes. People spread viruses or worms when they send emails. Emails warning, you can say, or virus laden threats, you can say, virus and hoaxes. Is one type of attack, you can say. So all this covered. So now we'll go with the attacks. So what is an attack? Then again we'll go for 5 marks question sometimes. You may ask attacks. So attacks is nothing but deliberate act, you can say. A deliberate act or actions that exploits the vulnerability. That exploits the vulnerability. Exploits the vulnerability. It is a deliberate act or actions that exploits the vulnerability. Example, you can take identified weakness in control system. Or you can also say that accomplish a threat by the threat agent that damages or steals organization information, asset. So what is an exploit generally? You are saying that it is a exploits vulnerability. What is an exploit? Exploit is a type of Trojan horse. Exploit technique to compromise a system, you can say. So Trojan horses generally use the exploit systems. Hole in the firewall, maybe. Which topic you are discussing now? Attacks. So exploit is a compromise of a particular technique to compromise a particular system. And what is a vulnerability? Vulnerability. Yes. Vulnerability is an identified weakness, you can say. Identified weakness of control system. So whose controls is not in the present are no longer effective. It's nothing but a vulnerability. Next, different types of attacks. It may be passive, it may be active. This is all different. Again, different types of attacks you can see. Malicious code. So what is a malicious code? Malicious code is nothing but attack includes the execution of viruses, you can see. Execution of viruses. Execution of viruses, worms, Trojan horses, active web scripts with intent to destroy or steal the information. So these attacks programs use up to the 6 known attacks, 6 known attack vectors, you can say, to exploit a variety of vulnerabilities in commonly found information system devices, you can see. Malicious code. So hoaxes is nothing but transmission of virus, hoax with real virus attached. More deviations from the attack, you can see. So we'll go detail. So IP scan and attack. IP scan attack is nothing but infected system that scans random or local range of IP addresses. So example, you can take code red. Code red. You can see the examples here. No problem. I know it to type. Code red. Back office. Poison box. So which targets several vulnerabilities known to the hackers are left over from the previous exploits. You can see IP scanner attack. Next, web browsing. It is an infected system, has a right access to any web page. Okay. So users who browse the web page become infected by using the web browsers. It makes all web content files infected. Next, coming to the viruses. So each infected machine infects certain common executable or script files on all computers, to which it can write with virus code that can cause the infection. Last one, unprotected shares. So using vulnerabilities in the file system are and way many of organization configures them. Generally, it copies the viral component to the all locations on the to reach particular system. You can see mass mail. So copies of infection are sent to the many users. You can see mass mail. And SNMP, simple management protocol. Which protocol you can see? SNMP. Which layer you can see? Where you can see this SNMP? Yes. Application layer. So known to many IT industries here, brought to attention of multi-vector attack community. Simple network management protocol. I think your class, next class. So Grapify is not IP scan attack. You can say it's a just sending the information. You can track the IP address, but not doing any attack on that. You're doing some investigation there.